My name is Nina Papazian, and I'm a registered social worker, and I'm also certified in veterinary social work. It's a new scope of practice that acknowledges and addresses challenges and concerns associated with the human-animal bond. The area of veterinary social work that I specialize in is grief and bereavement, so supporting people anticipating a loss or grieving a loss. I have specialized in grief and bereavement therapy, and also supporting folks where grief and bereavement intersects with trauma and traumatic loss, human or companion animal. And I've done a lot of work with women who've experienced sexual or physical violence, and also worked in a healthcare setting. So for 10 years worked in nephrology and dialysis and supported people facing chronic illness, transitions to life-sustaining therapy and treatment, and also supporting end-of-life transitions. So I'm quite comfortable in the realm of grief and bereavement. I honor the strengths and resilience that clients come into therapy and counseling with, and including the courage to reach out and connect for a therapeutic process. And when we are struggling in life, it is hard for us to to acknowledge and to stay connected to strengths and inner resources. So I often start there, and in order to create a strengths foundation, acknowledge inner resources as well as relational resources that may be protecting and supporting a client, including companion animals. And a lot of the work I do is teaching. And for example, grief is one way to think about grief. It's a life lesson in adjusting to life that in which your loved one is no longer present, and also with traumatic stress. So much of the work is teaching and learning to create a framework to understand what's happening in our brain and our nervous system, with our thoughts, in our relationships, in our body, and so on. And really deep focus on validating experience, validating stories, helping folks make meaning of their experiences, and transforming pain into purpose and sorrow into passion. I think immediately I just my what's most important to me is helping someone feel comfortable. So I use humor, my warmth, my authenticity, and my humanness. When I sit with someone to support them through a challenge, I sit as I'm human, you're human. And that's a starting place for me. And also I always ask, has there been previous experience with counseling or therapy? And to invite them to tell me about those experiences or that experience, what was meaningful to them, what was challenging, what was a fit and who was a fit and who wasn't a fit, and to learn as much as possible to kind of instruct or be mindful of things to pay attention to go forward to nurture and develop a therapeutic relationship in which the client will feel emotionally safe, validated, and attended to. I regard my clients as heroes in their own story, and I look up to them. I sit with them as, in humanness, but I I hold deep respect, and we all have stories, and therapy is a space to tell one's full story, because a lot of our stories are truncated, or we leave out a lot of our stories. We haven't really told ourselves a lot of our story is missing, or we're disconnected from it. So my hope is that people will feel safe and really comfortable, not, no feeling or concern about judgment, whether I'm letting them know explicitly, no judgment, if someone is cautious or wants to say something but seems cautious, and just that, therapy is not all heavy. It's not always a heavy process. That, there is light, there is joy, there is laughter, there is learning, there is sorrow, there are tears of joy as well as tears of sorrow, and that someone can bring their whole self into that process. I have over 30 years of social work experience with individuals, couples, families. I have, since the death of my first German Shepherd, I moved to specialize in pet loss bereavement. I'm also a pet loss grief specialist with the Association of Pet Loss and Bereavement, and I'm a chat host for one of their pet loss chat supports. So I have a lived experience of loss and trauma. I lost my mom when I was age 6. She had cancer. And I've had the lived experience of what we might call long grief with my dad, who had a dementia process. And, other experiences in my lifetime that have forged strengths and capacities that allow me to do the work I do and present authentically as human. And I also have 5 dogs, 3 Great Pyrenees and 2 German Shepherds, and 11 goats. And that's family for me and my husband.